Hello, consistent, predictable income community. Welcome to day number 5 of the 5-day listing challenge, which is how to take listings in today's market without having to go bang on doors, without having a cold call, and without having to beg, unless if that's what you want to do, which is cool by me. Thank you for joining me. My name is Dan Roshan, and hello, Mr. Daryl. Hello, Isis, Rocky, Colleen, Lisa, Rosa, and Leslie. And I know that there's more that are joining us today as well. Some people have told me that they believe that they have not enough money or talent to succeed in real estate sales. At the end of today's presentation, I'm going to share with you 10 things that you can do today that cost you zippy money and zippy talent to be able to gain success in real estate sales. I'm also going to talk to you about the CPI communication model, which is a communication model that will allow for you to instantaneously gain rapport with a prospective seller so that they follow your lead and hire you. So congratulations for everybody that's here. As you join us, hello, Nelly, welcome, welcome, welcome. I would love to invite you to tell us about your experience. And I'm guessing that some of you may have completed the daily CPI missions this week, and maybe some of you have not. And if that's the case, then I will invite for you to go backwards and take a look at the online portal at nobrokemonths.com and discover what are the steps that maybe you missed. Because as we're going to talk to you about the CPI communication model today, and as we're going to talk to you today about what costs you no talent and no money, we're also going to review this week's work to be able to set you up to increase your revenue, your net revenue, by up to $227,000 in the next 12 months. So if you've completed your CPI mission, I invite for you to share it with us and share your experience this week. If you have not completed your CPI mission, I invite for you to share that as well. Who would like to share first? What has your experience been this week? What's the outcomes you've created, the challenges that you've had? Who'd like to go first? The successes that you've had.
I feel I'm always going first, but I'm okay.
Hey, you are the pioneer, Colleen.
I have a FSBO appointment for Monday at 4.
Congratulations.
I sent a video just telling them was happy to talk with them, excited to meet with them, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
So I did do that. From the videos from not yesterday, but the day before, I got a call last night that they will have their house full. They were doing renovation on bathrooms in the kitchen.
Okay.
And they were going to try to sell it themselves. And I actually sold them the house.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like 6 years ago. And so now they are moving back to New York. I did get them an agent up there in New York so that I could do a referral fee. And I'm listing that I think Wednesday or Thursday. It's in my calendar. But then it'll be on the market the following week.
How did you convert it from them doing it on their own to hiring you?
I sent one of those videos just reaching out to them, not talking about real estate.
Wow.
I just
amazing, huh?
Seeing how things were going, seeing how their daughter Kaylee, was like in school, just chatting a little bit and asking them if they had any questions about real estate or needing a vendor for anything, or any of their friends needing something like that. Just keep me in mind, give me a call. And I just kind of left it really just friendly and nice.
That is, congratulations, Colleen. That is freaking awesome.
So
that's a listing. That's a win for the week. Way to go,
Mhm.
Colleen.
And then a referral in New York. So I like that too.
Hey, I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. 1 1/4. All right. 1 1/4, one deal plus a quarter of a deal or
Mhm.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
All right. That's fantastic. Good job, Colleen. Thank you for sharing. Who'd like to share next? I love to start like my day is complete. My week is complete. That success just really brings joy to me. So thank you, Colleen.
Well, Colleen,
Rocky.
you feel like you're first. I always feel like I'm second. So
Hey, we have an order here.
we do.
Rocky,
so
it's like oldest to youngest, I think. You know, we get the
well,
young
I'm
ones
right up there
started.
with you.
I'll go last. Thank you, ladies.
Okay, Dan, come on.
All right. Maybe I'll go first. Let's be real here. Go ahead,
Well,
Rocky. What you got?
I tell you, Dan, I've been consistent with the videos on Facebook, which is unusual to me, but I like to talk to people. I like to get back with my friends and stuff. So that's worked for me. And I've done that's what I kept consistent with this week, which is a big advantage for me because I've actually been consistent.
Yeah.
And I have gotten, like yesterday, I had a listing appointment. I got the listing. So, and it's a duplex, so I'm excited about that.
Right.
And I put it up actually last night and we're doing photos today. So that's a win. That's great. With doing the 10-second videos on Facebook, I got me a buyer. I normally don't do buyers, but I don't care. He's a friend. It's personal. I'll help him because him and his wife need help. And that's all I care about. And so and he's already signed a contract. They signed it yesterday afternoon, right after. So that's 2 for me. So I think that's okay. I mean, I know he's a buyer, but I'm taking care of him and that's what counts for me. Right? I mean, it really doesn't matter.
Rocky,
I don't care.
That's so
I mean, a
freaking
listing
awesome.
is great. I want the listing, but why I connect with people is because I want to take care of them and they need help. He's an evangelist and he just needs somebody to take care of him. He doesn't have a lot of money and that's okay with me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's got to have a house.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Congratulations, Rocky. And so tell me, so you did the work, you did it consistently. Was it hard?
Yes.
Okay.
But why
was it time consuming?
Well, why it was hard is because in my mind there was 100 things going on and I time block and I get easily distracted, and then my confidence just bottomed out in the past 3 months. I mean, and it did, and my confidence is higher because of this 5 days. I have to be honest with you, it is. But because I was contemplating pulling out. I really was, Dan. It had gotten that bad. It was like, what am I doing? I don't have this time to waste. Because my husband's dependent. People are depending on me, like my buyer, who's my buddy.
Rocky, how much time did it take for you to send the videos daily?
I don't know. I talk fast and I'm really, really funny.
Okay.
So, but it was okay. That's just who I am, and I had to. And that's something else. I had to accept who I am, and I had to quit deleting because I go back. It took me about half an hour, maybe.
Half an hour, maybe.
Maybe not. I don't even think that long. I'm probably maybe 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Because it was just short. Hey, sweetie, miss you. What are you up to? It was personal. In fact, I just said, hey, don't forget, I'm still in real estate while you're doing your fun job. You know, I turned it and made it fun. Or I'm out here doing, I made it funny. You don't want to hear what I said. I don't cuss, but I did make it fun. Right. I reminded them of my fun job. Because I think they know I like people. And it's like, so that was it's like, oh yeah, I'm having fun taking care of people.
Okay.
While you're in there in the office, you poor thing. Want me to bring you a cup of coffee? Oh no, wait, it's hot. How about some iced tea? Something corny.
Rocky, so 20 minutes of work.
Yeah.
5 days generated you.
I got a listing that will be active by tomorrow, maybe even
Mhm.
today, depends on my photographer. I got a buyer. I'll have him a house by this weekend. And I got an email. This will be one for me. I got an email this morning from a lady named Angela with EXP. She's an
Mhm.
investor. And she knows that I work with investors. I don't know where it will go. It was worth
That's
it.
okay. So you got two, yeses. One, we don't know what the heck it is, and less than an hour of work throughout the week. 2 hours of work max, but
Yeah,
20 minutes a day, right?
it was worth it. It was worth it. I feel like I ran out of gas and that you gave me some fuel.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
That's how I feel.
What will you do on Monday?
Oh, I'm going to be following up on what I'm going to do tomorrow because I'll be working
Okay.
tomorrow.
All right. And following up on the results that you create will get in the way of you creating the results for the following week.
I got to
See, this is the thing in real estate. What we do is we generate the business, and then we take our time serving the business. And then on Monday, we forget to do another 20 minutes of videos. Not you. I'm saying this is us as an industry.
Okay, so say all that again. So we generate the business.
We generate the business, and then we go and we serve the business, and we stop doing the activity that generated the business in the first place because we're focused on, well, what's the most important thing right now? The most important thing right now is to help my friend buy a home.
Yeah.
The most important thing right now is to help my friend sell a house. And then we stop the 20 minutes of activity that got us there in the first place.
Distractions.
Okay. Well, it's an easy distraction because that's making you money. So you think that that's what we should be doing, right? And I get it.
Yeah.
Yet the unfortunate truth of our industry is we are in 90-day cycles. So if you spend the next 30 days serving clients, and then another 30 days, it's going to be another 30 days before you even get back to the activity that got you there in the first place.
I think that's what I've been doing. Because because I do everything for every transaction, and I'm focused on those transactions that I don't, because I'm doing all of the PR, then I'm doing admin, then I'm doing transactions, then I'm doing making sure every part is done. So I had to learn how to delegate.
Rocky, this is what we do, by the way. If you really truly want to make that happen, that you never have a broke month in your career ever again, show up at the No Broke Months boot camp on Monday. Register today. I'm telling you, I've had 0 broke months since 2008. The last time I had a broke month was 15 years ago, however long that was, 14 years ago, a long time ago.
I have it on my home screen. I just haven't. Yeah, I've been quote unquote too busy taking care of my clients.
You can be too busy, and I'm talking to Rocky, but you can be too busy having the same cycle of what you had in the past, or you can set yourself up so that you never have a broke month again. That's your choice.
That's the
reality of this.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you how to do this. Rocky,
I'm just like Rocky. I've been doing the same thing too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get, 2 or 3 clients, and then I'm not doing anything in the morning. I'm not doing anything to make more business in the morning because now.
Colleen, what's your average commissions? What's your average commissions, Colleen?
45.
4,500.
Mm-hmm.
What's your average commissions, Rocky?
3%.
A dollar figure.
Oh, what?
Ballpark.
I get 3%. I get 3% of the commission.
Okay, what's your average price point?
Oh, my average price for about anywhere from 280 to 320.
Okay, let's call it 300. So $9,000.
I haven't brought home anything less than I think my lowest was 51. The
Okay.
average is probably 57 to 7
Okay.
grand.
All right. So 7 grand.
But don't be
Plus-
impressed. I mean, I've only had 4 sales this year, so
Okay. I got you. All right. I'm just doing a little bit of math here.
it's
Okay.
more paying taxes, you know, I mean, it's not.
$22,500 of revenue between you two ladies. So let's cut that in half. Call it 11,000 each.
Mhm.
Would your life, what would it look like when it's 11,000 this week, the next week, the following week, the following week, the following week, the following week?
It would be worth paying taxes because, you know what I'm saying? Because I've owned businesses before, and basically what all I'm doing is I'm making enough to cover my taxes.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
I
'Cause
do.
you
Right,
gotta
and your
take out
bills.
40% to pay your taxes, and then 40% to do your education and your licenses and everything else. So you're supposed to live on 20%. Well, okay, for real.
That's a whole nother conversation, but I know that when you're making
Okay.
11,000 bucks a week,
Yeah,
your
oh,
life
huge.
changes.
yes, it will change, and I need that. That's why I'm here.
Let's get you there. Who's like to share next? And then we'll get into the content. We got time for one more. Thank you, Rocky. Thank you, Colleen. We have one more slot for one more.
Hi,
Go ahead, Melissa.
everyone.
Oh, go Rosa, and we'll go Melissa. as
Well,
well.
Melissa can go. I went yesterday. That's fine.
We'll get you. We'll get you. We'll make it go.
I actually have my appointment went well yesterday with the expired. But I am waiting to hear back from my investors, and then we're going to have a further conversation once they come back with their numbers. And then I also just maybe like 2 hours ago just booked for a for sale by owner for an appointment. And then I have an appointment with another client that kind of just been keeping in contact with them on a commercial property, and now they're ready to list it.
I love it, Rosa. Thank you. Freaking awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Melissa, go ahead and share. Rosa, congratulations.
Hey, I figured I'd give my 2 cents. I have been the slacker because I have 2 listings that are going active this week. So I have, no excuses. I can't be making excuses, but but I have been doing the videos to past clients specifically, and I haven't been doing 10 a day, but I've been trying to do like 3 or 4 a day.
Okay.
And out of that, I did have a past client that wants me to sell some land for her. So not a huge paycheck, but something. I have a past client that referred a buyer to me, her friend or his friend. And so she's getting pre-approved today. And so hopefully I'll have a buyer in the next couple of weeks that'll close. And then I am having dinner with some past clients on Sunday, and they are thinking about selling their condo and moving to a condo on the beach or on the lake. So even though I have half-assed it all the week, I've still had some good results. And so I have to keep reminding myself, just imagine if I was actually doing this, wholeheartedly and really doing it and focusing on it, like what the results would be. So
Melissa, go ahead.
So I am focusing on the for sale by owner scripting. So I took some time and printed out like all the scripting so that I can get that together. And then I did buy your for sale by owner help kit. And so I need to go through that and start modifying it because you guys use title companies and we use attorneys here. So I'm going to modify it a little bit. But my big aha, I think, is I tend to like try something 3, 4, 5 times and maybe it doesn't work. And so I give up on it. And so I think listening to what you've been saying, it is a numbers game. You have to keep putting in the numbers to get the results. And it might take 20 tries, but you can't give up because it will work and it will produce results. And I signed up for your boot camp on Monday.
I look forward to seeing you on Monday. Congratulations to sign up for that as well. Melissa, you can half-ass it every single day as long as you do it.
Right.
Okay, like just get this. An hour a day, every 5 days a week. runs a successful business.
Right.
You may imagine that I have a lot of responsibilities on my schedule, and I still attend 3 listing appointments every single week on average, a little bit less than average of 3. Well, I do have people to help me to set those up, and I don't have much more than an hour a day to be able to lead generate. I've not done my lead generation yet. And right after this, I'll tell you guys about what's happening right after this. And right after that, I'm going to spend an hour doing lead generation. An hour a day gets me more than 100 transactions a year. I'm not saying that to be boastful.
Right.
I'm just saying that it doesn't take a lot. It just takes consistency.
Right. And that's the big thing, is the consistency. I need to say, hey, come hell or high water, I am spending an hour at my desk and I am doing some lead gen.
Which is why Rocky and Colleen, when we started, I'm saying, look, I get that you're doing this. And on Monday, hour of lead generation. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. By the way, let's go. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. You guys are freaking awesome, every one of you. I want to tell you, at 1 p.m. today, and every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern time, I host an industry leader mastermind where I welcome in a top person from the industry that is the 1% of 1% that will talk to us about their specialty. Today, I have a friend of mine called Phil Duke, who's a franchise owner of an organization called First Class Real Estate. And he has multiple locations, hundreds of agents who he leads. He's a freaking phenomenal gentleman. He's going to talk to us about training versus accountability and have a conversation about which of those two is most important. Is training more important, or is accountability more important? So if you'd like to know, show up at 1, and you can feel free to hang out here. And Rosa, we will go ahead and put that link to that for sale by owner packet. Leslie will put that in there in just a moment. So thank you, ladies, again for sharing with us. And I want to ask, are you adopting? For you to succeed, you're going to have to adapt. You're going to have to choose to realize that what worked in the past no longer works today. You're going to have to understand. I just wrote an article. I finished it up this morning for a major publication, and they asked for me to write about technology, about big data, about artificial intelligence and the way that that impacts our industry. And what I want you to understand is that what worked in the past no longer works, which means that you have to be more consistent with your activities. We're about to enter into a shift. Almost every single real estate brokerage has laid off people. Keller Williams Realty has laid off in the past few months 126 people from their international staff. Whatever it is. the new name for Realogy.
Rex.
Was it?
Rex.
No, it's not
R-E-X?
Rex. It's like something Places or something. Anyway, they laid a bunch of people off. That's the point. So what that's telling us is that moving forward, all the major brokerages are preparing for a shift. But you know what? I don't care. Like in my personal sales business, I don't care. Because shift or no shift, I'm going to show up. And I'm going to do that 1 to 3 hours of lead generation daily. And that's what I want to encourage for you to do. And, oh, by the way, I put 2 listings on the market this week, and I put 0 time into it. Because what I focus my time on is, outside of training and teaching, is my 5 activities of CPI time, which is to lead generate, to convert the leads to an appointment, to attend the appointment for the purpose to get hired, to negotiate, and description role play. So how do I only focus on that inside the business? Because I use the CPI virtual assistants to support me to do everything else, so that I can put 2 listings onto the marketplace and continue daily lead generation and be able to afford it as well. And Leslie's going to put a link in there so you can figure that out. So let's put this all together. On Monday, we discovered why are you in real estate? Why are you a real estate sales agent? And that is becoming our compass. On Tuesday, we took a look at the options of how to sell real estate. That's defined as your way. Because what we don't want to do is we don't want you to wake up and struggle. I heard some feedback to say, well, the videos were tough. I get it. And I also understand that if you're willing to do that, there was a few people like yesterday were like, I'm not interested. I said, okay, well, then do it, right? But if it's not something that makes you really, really want to jump underneath your desk, do it long enough. Do it for 30 days and see how comfortable you get with it. And I promise you, when you get 2 more listings next week, you'll get real comfortable with it real quick. Okay? Because it's the only thing that you're doing is you're just talking to them the same way as you would if like we were like face-to-face right now. We're face-to-face right now. We're all over the country, all over the world, really. On Wednesday, we dove deep in defining your way to make sales. And we reviewed a framework of what steps do you take to be able to get hired 85% of the time when you go to a listing appointment. Now, we didn't dive deep into the what to do at the listing appointment. You'll learn that on Monday of next week at No Broke Months. On Thursday, yesterday, we reviewed the scientific hack for you to be the very best version of yourself, not just in sales, but in life. Because when you are equipped to be able to create different results, and you know how to create different results based off your programming to change your circumstance, everything else flows from that. And if you believe in yourself, because I know that you do, and when you know why you're selling real estate, and when you found your way of how to sell real estate, which are the components that we've done this week, nothing can stop you. Absolutely nothing can stop you, unless if you stop. Which is why I offer the resources to be able to keep you going and to be able to do so in a way that you can afford. Today, I want to talk to you about how do you connect? And how do you connect instantly with others? After I talk to you about that, then that's called the CPI communication model. We're going to review the 3 tactics that we did this week, and then we're going to go and we're going to review the things that cost you zippy talent, zippy money. And then we'll go ahead and get you signed up for the 3-day boot camp. The CPI communication model is the model that will allow for you to connect with others instantaneously. What is the CPI communication model? So 3 steps on the screen there, which is number 1 is to be in rapport. Number 2 is to ask adept questions. And number 3 is to actively listen. Seems simple enough, yet what do each of those components mean and how do you use it? So let's start with rapport. What is rapport? Take yourself off mute and yell it out here if you could, please. What is rapport?
It's connecting.
Ooh. I almost never get it on number 1, Lisa. In fact, I think that's the first time I ever got it on number 1. It's a connection. What I most frequently hear is really more of how it shows up. Okay, I'm going to tell you more about connection here in a second. How do we know when we're in rapport?
You almost can feel it.
Damn it, Lisa. You're like 100%. That was a good damn it. I'm sorry. You could feel it, man. I bet you that you are somebody that makes other people feel really good about themselves. Just the fact that you just answered. I'm going to tell you, Lisa, I've taught this for years, almost a decade. I've taught this CPI communication model. I didn't always call it the CPI communication model. And I don't think a single time that I've taught this that I got 2 right answers from the same person, especially on the first go. Well, let's expand on that. So what are we connecting? So let's take a look at this pen. Is it true that this pen is made up of energy? Yes. We can all agree to that. It's just the rate, the speed that the energy is moving is just, a different rate than something that may be fluid. This cup, is this made up of energy? Yes. Okay. This organism right here, is this made up of energy? Yeah. Okay. So now let's think about it. We are spiritual beings manifested in a physical entity. So when we are in rapport, so again, there's energy. That spiritualness is energy. So we are made up of energy. So what a true rapport is a connection, an intertwining of 2 or more people's energy. It is an exchange of energy. It is an openness to paying attention to the spirit of another human being. Didn't think you'd get that deep in a listing class, did you? So when you truly know what rapport is, and then just like what Lisa expertly taught us, then you know when you're in rapport, you know when there's that connection of energy is when you could feel it. Remember a time that you were communicating with somebody and you had that flutter on the inside of your belly or your chest. And when you were in that moment, you were exchanging energy. Consider 2 ballroom dancers, professional dancers, enter into a ballroom, have never met each other before, but they can skillfully dance. And the music starts playing. And the 2 of those dancers start to dance in unison. And they never touch each other. How is it that one can guide the other and the other can follow the other's lead? And they never touch. Because they're paying attention to the energy. It's an extreme expression of rapport. Anybody here ever been a waiter or waitress besides me? Waiter, waitresses, wow. Normally there's a bunch. All right, Lisa, all right. Envision this. When I got my real estate license in 2007, the last profession I had before this, I was a professional waiter. And I worked in one of the highest end steakhouses in the world. This is in Washington, D.C. And this is at the time where all the senators and the lobbyists and the famous people and Supreme Court justice, this is where they would hang. And it was a really, it was a masculine type restaurant. It was, it was smoke cigar room. This was back when you could smoke cigars in a room. And, like this wood paneling, sort of like the room that I'm in right now, but nicer, right? Not the crappy wood panel I got in here, right? Like really, really a masculine dark wood mahogany type feel to it. And most of the servers were men, and they were men that were sort of, like aggressive. And so we would, in the restaurant, we would walk through the restaurant at a high rate of speed, almost speed walk as we went through the restaurant to serve these really demanding high level people. And as we would go through the restaurant, not a single time, I worked there for 5 years, did I ever see two waiters run into each other. And as we were moving, you would pay attention to your surroundings peripherally, but you wouldn't necessarily look at another waiter's, like looking at them, because if you did that, you'd actually, would probably get out of sync. So how did this, at any given night, 12 or so grown men walk through a sort of a intense type environment at a high rate of speed and never crash into each other? Because the energy, though, this certainly wouldn't have been what any of my friends would have acknowledged at the time, but the energy in between us was connected. So an entire organism, multiple people can remain connected simultaneously, as well as one to one. That is rapport. I'll tell you some tips and tricks and hacks to gain rapport quickly here in a few moments, but I'm going to explain the other two concepts and I'll come back to that. So now when we gain rapport quickly, we then ask adept questions. What is an adept question? An adept question is a question that's designed to lead the other party to an outcome that will serve them. For example, and you'll learn this in the No Broke Months class next week, my close, one of my favorite closes of all times, is called the hairy eyeball close. When you're working with a buyer, you guys ready for the hairy eyeball close? So when we're working with buyers, we give each of them a 1 to 5 script. And that 1 to 5 script is designed to be able to allow for them to make a decision about a home that they're going to buy, and have two parties, normally spouses or partners, to not sabotage each other, so that they can independently make the decision. And as we go through and we show home after home after home, that our buyers will have a clipboard. And then what we do is we take that sheet away from the clipboard after home number 1. We put home number 2 sheet on there. And when they're going through the home, I ask for them not to talk to each other. This way they're not influencing each other. And at the end, they're going to take their notes, and at the end, grade it a 1 to 5. And trust me, nobody ever rates it a 5. Typically, when we're going to write an offer that gets accepted, it's going to be a 3 or a 4. And then we leave, and then we review at the end of the showing, what Rocky did you write? What Daryl did you write? I wrote a 4. I wrote a 3. Fantastic. Let's go to the next home. Give you property number 2, home number 2 rather. Here's home number 2. We leave there. We go to home number 3. Now, what we do is when we go to home number 3, home number 1 and 2, we take away the lowest rated home. And then we put on home number 3. And we continue that process until the end of showings. And then we do one of the most adept questions that I can ever imagine. That's really, again, it's exchange of spiritual energy, not even words. And this is what I call the hairy eyeball quiz. You see, I took my glasses off to demonstrate this. So I would look at Rocky. I would say, again, this is the end of the process. And she rated a 4.5. That's the number 1 home. And Dale rated a 3.75. And here's the hairy eyeball quiz. Rocky, 4.5, huh? Yeah. Daryl, 3.75, huh? And that's the close. Hopefully you guys were watching me when I did that. And I don't even ask them with words, what are you going to do? I ask them with an exchange of energy, so that whose choice is that? It's theirs, not mine. Why is that important? went on a listing appointment less than 6 months ago, got the listing. And when I got hired, the sellers owned that home for 10 years. Do you know what they said to me about their disdain for real estate agents? Was how their agent who helped them find that home did not inform them of all the potential expenses because their HVAC broke 2 months after they bought it. And they were still 10 years later pissed off at that agent. You guys believe that that's a possibility? Okay. So 10 years later, they're still perturbed with the agent because the agent did not follow a process to skillfully guide them. So it wasn't her decision, it was their decision. An adept question is one that's going to guide an outcome. I gave you an example of a non-verbal adept question. A verbal adept question would be, for example, when we go on a listing appointment, we ask trial closes. I asked 7 trial closes as I walk through the property with the sellers. What's an example of a trial close? Should we place the lockbox there or should we place it on the rail? Should we do open houses on Sundays or Saturday or both, etc.? A trial close is just a little test in the temperature. How does that question guide them to a predetermined outcome? Because it guides them. So I just gave you a little preview of coming attractions, what you're going to learn on Monday. It guides them to understanding how hiring me is in their best interest, because it is. And if you don't believe that about yourself, then that's another opportunity that we have to develop. Because I believe in you, and I believe that absent one person in the room, the best choice for your clients to get to hire is you. All right, I'll throw myself out of there. I don't think anybody's in my marketplace. Yeah, I don't think anybody's in my marketplace. We'll say every one of you. All right, so that's an adept question. And then actively listen. So what does it mean to actively listen? Recall. Congratulations, Daryl. Good man. I get little notes sent to me from time to time. Daryl just signed up for the boot camp. We'll see you on Monday. We're going to help you out. So actively listening. Recall that the rapport is a connection, is a connection of energy. You've probably, maybe if you've had anybody teach you about actively listening in the past, they're going to teach you tips and tricks such as repeat the last few words back to them. There's another tip and trick I learned once. Your next sentence has got to start with the last letter of their sentence. Shoot. So I just did it. Sentence. No, I didn't do it right. I thought sentence ended with an S. I screwed myself up with an E. Right. So, but to do that, you really got to pay attention to the other person. These are the tips and tricks that you may have learned. Repeating back the last few words of what they say is helpful. I do that as a common communication style. When you watch me, and if you ever see me teaching in the future, when you see me teaching and you see me communicating with a student, I bet you when I start talking, I start with their last 2 or 3 words. I don't do that on purpose, by the way. I've trained myself to be in tune. That's a language that I speak. The same way as Marcos, who doesn't have his camera on, speaks Spanish as a primary language. And he learned English as a second language. When he learned, you don't have to put your camera on. Hey, Marcos. Well, I'm glad that you, hey, no, put it back on. When he learned English, he had to focus on English. Marcos, today, do you have to think about speaking English?
No, it comes quite naturally.
One time in your life, you had to think about it, right?
Yeah. I mean, even dreams would sort of shift and change.
Yeah. So when we're talking, what I'm sharing with you right now is actually neurolinguistic programming. It's actually psychology. It's actually communication. It's a new language, which we're not going to get into deeply today. We will next week. As we unravel and as we discover next week a better way, a new way of communicating, at first you'll have to pay attention. And at some point, just like Marco's, your dreams change. Your DNA changes, at least the way that you think and the way that you approach life changes. And no longer do you have to pay attention to a new way of using persuasive languaging. So I could teach you some hacks and tricks for actively listening, yet, and I will next week, what I want you to know is actively listening is paying attention to that energy that we talked about before. Rapport is a connection of energy. Actively listening is paying attention to it. Has there ever been a time where you said to somebody, hey, do you want to write an offer that gets accepted on this home? Oh, by the way, write an offer that gets accepted. You'll never hear me say, do you want to write an offer, by the way? I only say, do you want to write an offer that gets accepted? All right. And I'll tell you that story another time. Have you ever been in a situation where you said to another, do you want to write an offer that gets accepted? And they said, yeah. The word said yes, but the energy said no. And if you don't address the energy in that moment, you're setting yourself up for failure. And the easiest way to do that is just simply look back at them and say, I heard you say yes, yet I'm feeling that maybe it's not quite a yes. Could you tell me more about that? And when you do that, then you get to really handle something that may sabotage you later. Does that make sense to you guys? So now you really set yourself up so that you get to the root of, well, what is the hesitation? Now we can address that. Building rapport is having that energy that's connected. Asking adept questions is to drive a conversation into a direction by asking questions so that you get to an answer that's going to serve the other person's best interests, such as, wouldn't everybody here, when they're making $11,000 a month, a week, every single week, having no broke months, fast forward 3 years from today, wouldn't that change your life? So when you register for no broke months, when I ask you in about 20 minutes to do so, that is the access to be able to get you there. And I know that you believe right now that I'm asking you that question because I believe it. And I don't just believe it, I know it. Told you I'd give you some tips and tricks on building rapport. I'm going to give you one at a listing appointment because this is a listing class. So you may have heard of mirror and matching. You may have heard of crossover mirror and matching. Mirror and matching is to be able to shadow somebody else's body, to shadow somebody else's way of being, right? Repeat back their words. And again, same type of thing where we at first, you'll have to learn the new language. You'll have to learn Spanish if you're English or English if you're Spanish speaking. But at some point, it becomes a new language for you. And so mirror and matching is if they put their right hand to their face, you could put your left hand to their face, to your face, because it's going to be like that, like that. So that's mirroring. We're matching. So we're mirroring right now because this is a mirror. Like if I raise my right hand, I think if you raise your left hand, yeah, you raise your left hand, we're mirroring. Yep, Rocky, that was your left hand, right? Okay, so now if I raise my right hand, Rocky, raise your right hand, please. Your right hand. That's matching. Matching also gains rapport, but mirroring gains more rapport. There may be times where you don't want to gain as close of a connection as others. The example that I use in Real Estate Evolution in the book I authored is a man and a woman, or even man and a man, or woman and a woman, or whatever, that maybe one may be attracted to them in a way that the other doesn't want them to be attracted to them. Maybe you still want some sort of connection, but you want to tone it down a little bit. So there's degrees that you could be able to create that connection, that rapport. Here's the tip and trick when you're at a listing appointment. Grab your pen, and you've got your paperwork on the table. And every single time that you see them smile, tap your pen on the paperwork. Every single time that you see them express positive emotion, joyfulness, happiness, tap your pen on the table. Oh, by the way, it takes a high degree of active listening to do this. At the end of the conversation, so are you ready to go ahead and okay the paperwork? Because that's an anchor, is what I'm teaching you right now. Same way with my daughter. She's a little bit older now. She's going to be 12 in 5 days. And when she was a younger lady, when I would tell her I would love her, I would tap her shoulder. I would squeeze her shoulder. Sweetie, I love you. Sweetie, I love you. Sweetie, I love you. Sweetie, I love you. So now when she's a little bit older and, she doesn't necessarily want dad, gushing all over her, I don't need to anymore. I just tap her shoulder. And she knows what I'm telling her. Because I've anchored that in her. Because that was important to me, because I knew at some point she'd be 12 and, I still want to tell her I love her. At some point she'll be 17. I'll still want to tell her I love her then. I don't know what that would be like. Oh, goodness. Another conversation. Joyfulness, 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 joyfulness. Are you ready to get the process started? To elicit joyfulness. The ways that we learned this past week to be able, Rocky, congratulations for signing up. You are awesome. The ways that we learned this week to be able to sell homes, the 3 out of the 17 ways that I teach were the for sale by owner, your way. And I'm going to ask for you to continue, if this is the pathway that you selected, to continue this pathway moving forward. I'm going to ask for you to meet with 5 to 7 people. And I'm going to say it's going to probably come back down to 5 relatively soon. When I started teaching this class, my metrics historically were for every 5 people that I would meet face to face, I would get hired once. About 2 years ago, I changed the metrics because the metrics changed to 1 out of 7. Because what was happening was the market was so aggressive that properties were just selling. So I had to adjust the numbers in the way that I taught. I'm still teaching 1 out of 7 because I'm like, you know what? It's probably closer to 1 out of 5, but if I say 1 out of 7, you do better than that, hey, we're good. Okay, but this is just the reality of it. Meet between 5 and 7 people a week if you want to list 50 homes in the next year. That is the recipe. That's it. You do that and you follow the process that I'm sharing with you, you list 50. Of the 79 that I listed last year, only 12 of them were for sale by owners. It's not my full-time gig. I'm not going to 5 to 7. I don't have an agent on my team that is. Yet, every 5 to 7, we get hired. So last year, we went to at least 60 face-to-faces with a for sale by owner. Facebook lead generator system. 1 out of 100 will hire you in the next 90 days. Or rather, they'll hire you and go to closing in the next 90 days. That's a real small percentage. But on average, it costs you $200 to do. By the way, 4 out of 100, 1 out of 25 will go to closing in the next 18 months, with or without you. That's up to you. Do you have a system like the CPI CRM that will allow for you to stay in touch with them predictably? And then we went through the open house. And I've talked about hosting an open house as though if it's an event, as though you're throwing a party, because that's where you really get hired, is at treating it like an event is how you really get hired. Because that's where you find other people who are in the pathway of real estate. Every single thing that I'm teaching you this week is putting yourself simply in the pathway of somebody that needs your services. Now, you may or may not be able to convert them, but I'm telling you what the conversion numbers are on average across all skill sets. Your skill gets better, your conversion gets better. So this week we talked about finding your way to make sales, and we discovered 3 ways plus a secret sauce of video to be able to do so. When you join me at the upcoming 3-day event, you're going to be able to find how to have more money, more freedom of time. And I want to show you this quick video, and then I'm going to tell you 10 ways to get business with no money and no talent. Go ahead, Leslie. And then we'll meet my friend who's going to tell you about.
I've been in the business for about four months.
I'm a realtor, but I'm also a wholesaler.
I think the one thing that's missing from my business,
I'm not really very consistent.
organization of time.
That's right. Consistency is what I'm really looking at. I'm a one-man show.
Have I been consistent with my prospecting? Absolutely not.
I was lost because I was trying many things.
I'm selling real estate right now because I have.
It's hard, and I've spent a lot of years going 2 steps forward.
There are a lot of things I could have done differently.
5 steps backwards, and
There was no direction, what to adopt and what to leave, and
I'm intimidated not being able to speak the language.
where to start and where to go.
2 weeks ago when I took your 5-day challenge, you say just pick up the phone and just.
The 3 strategies that Dan taught, my favorite one was picking up the phone or texting for sale by owners.
I am at that point of, I know when I focus on this and hire you as my mentor, I'm going to go big and just leave my regular job.
Found my way, and in my first consultation, Dan discovered where my strengths are. So him and I together, we realized it, and mine is video.
I think the one goal was to focus in on just one thing. Like Doug decided that he wanted to do the for sale by owners program, and I was doing the Facebook part of it.
in the 5-day challenge, I really learned that there's a simpler pathway to consistency.
And so what after he talked about 2 weeks ago, I actually just went and got 3 listings.
By doing so, I had been making video consistently for a year. Since the program, I've doubled my income, and most of it, hey, hold your socks here, have been in my boxers.
I've been with Dan since 2015, but there, like what JJ says, the timing wasn't right. I had to put my efforts and my mind and all my energy into fixing my home, and a lot of stuff that are really serious, and that has passed. But the thing with me was I never gave up with real estate, even though I had to do it part-time. I knew in my heart this is the place where I'm at, so I never gave up. But I'm getting ready to go full-time.
All right, and I'm going to introduce you to Phil Duke here in just a moment. Before I do that, I want to talk to you about a very special offer, which when you sign up today for the No Broke Months, and everybody that's already signed up, you'll have a one-on-one conversation with me in the next 10 days to be able to deep dive into your business and discover at least one thing that you already do not know to be able to have no broke months. So let me finish up. 10 things that require zippy money, zippy time, maybe a little bit of time, but zippy money and zippy talent. Number 1, we can all be on time. Number 2, we choose the work ethic that we invest. We choose to have the passion that we want to have. And by the way, the one with the most passion is the one that's going to win. We could choose to do extra or not. We could choose to be prepared. Our attitude is within our control. We talked about that yesterday, about changing your circumstance. Our body language. Do you have a powerful body language? Or, oh crap, that's up to you. Our effort, our energy. That's up to you. And will you be coachable? So I'm going to leave this screen up for you to get registered. And I think that that website is probably not the easiest pathway. I'm sure that Les will put it in there. Phil, welcome. I'm going to introduce you in about 2 minutes. We need to do a little bit of transition, so we're going to be about 2 minutes late to get started. And today, Phil